is that it's kind of the formation of the liturgy of the Eucharist. Obviously, Melchizedek, who started the whole thing with the whole bread and wine.
Welcome back, everyone. We are looking back at this past week's Sunday readings and looking ahead to next Sunday's readings. We know that most people attending Mass don't look ahead to the readings they'll be hearing. So I hope you'll find our little show fun and useful, especially if you're looking to connect more to the Bible readings during Mass. My name is Vincent and my buddy's name is Roy. We've been friends since childhood and we both volunteer at different churches as lectors, or the guys who read at Mass. We'll offer our thoughts on the readings as well as share some fun stories about volunteering at church and everyday life. Okay, let's get started.
What's up? What's been new with you?
So Father's Day was this weekend. Happy Father's Day to everyone. We actually had a pretty low-key, pretty chill Father's Day. We actually got together on Saturday evening. How about you? How was your Father's Day?
It was good, but just like any father, you focus on your kids, right? So
Do that.
my daughter's timeline was crazy. So it's more like, what's up with my daughter? Like it all started on Friday, where it was the last day of school. Right after school, she went to a birthday party, which she stayed up way past her bedtime, but she came home and everything like that. But it was fine. There was nothing in the morning on Saturday. But in the afternoon, she had 2 gymnastic visits. And then right after that, we had another birthday party. And I don't think she went to bed till like almost midnight.
It's party time, man. It's the first weekend after school. It's party.
I know.
All good.
Sunday was Father's Day, but she had another clinic.
A gymnastics clinic?
Gymnastics clinic. And then we went for Father's Day dinner. And then we kind of timed it right. So we go to the 7 o'clock Mass. And then after Mass, we had our little dessert with ice cream. We haven't been to Rita's in a long, long time. And
Rita's. Where is Rita's?
it's right off of Winchester and I think so. I want to say Prune Ridge. So yeah, Rita's is highly recommended.
All right, let's do the look ahead. So this week we are celebrating the Solemnity, or I should say, I don't know if it's Solemnity. Let me see.
What is a solemnity?
Off the top of my head, something that's solemn, you want to keep holy, so it's a holy day. A feast day would be, I usually think of a feast day of something like the feast day of a saint, the feast of the Annunciation or the Ascension. Solemnity is like a holy day where we commemorate a holy thing or an event.
So this week, we're celebrating the solemnity of the most holy body and blood of Christ. Last week, we celebrated the Trinity, and the week before that, we celebrated Pentecost.
So for all you fans of Eucharistic prayer number 1, I hope you're sitting down for this because the first reading is about your boy Melchizedek. Was called Abraham. He was still called Abram. So this is Melchizedek, your high priest, breaking out the bread and wine to bless Abram in the first reading from Genesis. The responsorial is Psalm 110, and guess what? It goes, "You are a priest forever in the line of Melchizedek." So it's the Melchizedek show. It's a Melchizedek show for the first part of the readings. And then the second reading is from Corinthians 11, where Paul recounts the events of the Last Supper, when Jesus said, "This is my body, this is my blood. Do this in remembrance of me." So that's the second reading. Then after the second reading is what's called the sequence, which is like a poem, and it follows a specific rhythmic structure. If you recall back to your high school days or your college days when you studied poetry like Shakespeare, you might remember terms like iambic pentameter, where a line has 10 syllables and has a certain rhythm, like da-dum, 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 da-dum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In comparison, the sequence that we'll hear at Mass, which is hopefully sung clearly and beautifully, whoever is singing it, follows a pattern called a trochaic tetrameter. So there's your word for the day. There's your Greek word for the day. This is why I'm wearing my Greek soccer jersey here. It's called a trochaic tetrameter. So it sounds like da-dum, 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 da-dum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you've read Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, this is the same kind of trochaic rhythm that he uses here.
Nevermore.
Again, the sequence is going to come after the second reading and before the Alleluia. It goes, Loud, O Zion, your salvation, loud with hymns of exultation. Christ your King and Shepherd true. The last line has 7 syllables. Bring him all the praise you know, he is more than you bestow, never can you reach his due. This the truth each Christian learns, bread into his flesh he turns, to his precious blood the wine. Sight has failed nor thought conceives, but a dauntless faith believes, resting on a power divine. And near the end it goes, whoso of this food partakes, does not rend the Lord nor breaks. Christ is whole to all that taste. Thousands are as one receivers, one as thousands of believers, eats of him who cannot waste. I really enjoyed reading that sequence because it was very rhythmic, so I really want to get that out there.
You know, that kind of reminds me, since I've been reading The Hobbit, J.R.R. Tolkien puts a lot of poems in the book, and in terms of like some of the songs that they sing. It's interesting how the book lays out some of the poems. So it in this book, it separates it out so you could kind of see it. It has like really nice illustrations.
Yeah. Finally, the gospel is from Luke chapter 9, and this is the famous story of the loaves and fishes, how Jesus, with the cooperation of his disciples, fed 5,000 people with just a mere 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And they picked up 12 wicker baskets full of leftovers.
What I kind of noticed as a thread is that it's kind of the formation of the liturgy of the Eucharist. Obviously, Melchizedek, who started the whole thing with the whole bread and wine, and then all the way to remembering Jesus' Triduum, right, in the Last Supper, where he brings out the bread and the wine. Now, every Mass, we feed everybody in Mass with bread and wine, just like feeding the 5,000. And where, as you said, we have the leftovers, we put all the hosts back into the tabernacle.
I wanted to point out how Jesus, who we know performed many miracles, very often invites or even commands his apostles cooperation in his work to participate in the miracle. So like, give me everything you have and I'll make it greater, he's basically saying. 5 loaves of bread, 2 fish, that's all you have? Okay, I got you, right? Or says, hey, you ran out of wine? You got any water? Okay, go fill those jugs for me. Or even like Lazarus, dead for 4 days? Okay, go roll away that stone if you could, right? So we're always amazed at the miracle, that it's very easy to overlook how Jesus is asking us to participate in his work, right?
And it almost requires us to participate in order for the miracles and his graces and his blessings to come forth through us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's do a look back. I read last week. It was funny. I asked my boy to take video of me, so I gave him my phone. When everybody sat down, he was standing up like this with the phone, and I looked at him, I'm like, sit down. You don't have to stand up to take a video. Just sit down. The microphone's right here. I didn't want to be like, sit down. So I'm like. In here, it looked pretty funny.
That's Father's Day for you.
There you go. Happy Father's Day.
So looking back, I noticed the filioque, where it's Latin for and the Son, and it's also can be thought of as through the Son, where the Holy Spirit proceeds from both the Father and the Son. I think we talked about this in a previous podcast. Yeah. A good analogy that I heard was like when God is talking, where the Father was the person and the Word was Jesus and the breath was the Holy Spirit. So you need all 3 together as one to be able to speak the word. Another one was how God was love, where the Father begat the Son, and the mutual love that they shared together was the Spirit. If you look at the first reading, Jesus, or the wisdom, was there when the Lord created the earth. Think of the Father as the design, and then Jesus was the craftsman. It literally says, like, I was the craftsman. If you cross-reference Genesis 1, the wind from God was over the water. So that's the Spirit. So again, putting all 3 kind of together. Also, Jesus being the craftsman, if you cross-reference Genesis 7, where God breathed into Adam's nostrils for the life of the Spirit. It all kind of works and plays together. On the second reading, the Holy Spirit is love, as I mentioned earlier, poured out onto our hearts. So that shows that we share in the love from the Trinity, that they all share love together. And then finally, in the Gospel, the Spirit of truth that was shared between the Father and the Son, as I mentioned earlier, was declared to us so that we remember Jesus's love by glorifying him. We share in the Spirit with others so that we remember Jesus's love for us by glorifying him. We share the Spirit with others.
One little gospel reflection that I remembered, the priest, Father Jonathan, he touched on Father's Day. Fathers, especially fathers with daughters like you, is that fathers protect the modesty of their daughters. You know, he brought it very practical to today's society, how there's a lack of a true and strong fatherly presence in many families, unfortunately. And this not only affects the sons, as we know, but it really affects the daughters too. So the daughters who grow up in that environment learn and know their self-worth and how valuable and beautiful it is to protect. And when we say protect, that means keeping it modest, right? So you don't, I mean, we can kind of infer what he's talking about there, you know, that your daughters don't go out there just kind of flaunting, especially when they get a little older. They get a little immodest, let's say. That's a nice way to put it, because they don't value it as highly as they ought to. And they learn that first, that high value of their own self-worth from their fathers, and the fathers protect that. So I thought that was pretty awesome and can't be said enough in today's world.
Interesting. I literally today we received an email from our pastor, kind of reminding us that it is getting warmer now. The email was primarily for all the ministers. Try to be modest. Again, you are a little bit, you are kind of the reflection of the church, but, you know, gentle reminder, we want to still have some modesty when we're in the altar area. So
yeah. Why are you coming out there in like a tank top? And
like what did I do?
It's like suns out, guns out. You know, those tuxedos without the sleeves. What a terrible visual. All right, I'm gonna pick one of the how would you read this snippets for this coming week. Are you reading this week?
No.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do the first reading, and it's very short. So if you're reading this week, it's from Genesis. Make sure you don't mispronounce Melchizedek. In those days, Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine, and being a priest of God Most High, he blessed Abram with these words, "Blessed be Abram by God Most High, the creator of heaven and earth. And blessed be God Most High, who delivered your foes into your hand." Then Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. That's it. That's very short. So
It'd be interesting if you, instead of saying Abram, you actually do it the more Jewish, or the B is a V.
Avram?
So, Abram.
Abram. Oh, look at you, Hebrew scholar over here. Didn't know that.
I was listening to something and the B's are V. So even instead of Abraham, it's Avraham.
Impressive.
Or maybe the priest will look at your foot. Do it normally.
The priest is like this. And he's like, okay, how was it? I hope you got some positive takeaways from this. Leave your thoughts below in the comments, and don't just like and subscribe, but also click that share button and share this with your family and friends as well. Take care and God bless. It's the Melchizedek show. It's the Melchizedek show.